All right, folks, before I swap over and before I unmute things, we have our big final announcement of the day. You heard about us sponsoring Buell? That's pretty cool. You heard about Zombie Grub coming over to my house so we can do the live AMA? Yeah, that's pretty neat. But this one's pretty spicy. I'm proud to present the third caster who'll be joining us at the live event for the TING Open, the Corsair headquarters, none other than Nathanius. Yay!
Wait, Nathanius is going to be there?
Wait a minute, what?
That guy?
All right, well, your cam has awkwardly frozen, but that's fine because you look glorious. Luckily, we're not going to be on cameras for too long anyways. We're going to be getting into the game here momentarily. Is the lobby set up and good to go? It's GuMiho versus Neeb. Zombie Up and I made our predictions, and we'll go into those in a moment. If you had to make a quick call, Nate, in this best of 5, what do you think the score ends up being? Oh no, do we lose Nate entirely?
Maybe we lost him entirely.
This is not... Well, he joined the lobby, so... Oh, he's saying his... Okay, hang on. His XSplit blew up. What a surprise. Been there, done that.
Silly XSplit users.
Give him a sec to get back on this.
For kids. Speaking of, I am so hungry right now. I could eat an entire plate of Korean barbecue. I could do that even if I wasn't hungry.
As you say, you are kind of like a Korean barbecue fiend, and the webcam proportions have now gotten really funny because of Nate leaving. Can you do me a favor on your lean to your right slightly? There we go. Now your head's in one of the frames at least. Instead of being like half and half.
What's up? Zombie Grub.
Are you trying to do like a Zombie Grub impression while actually being Zombie Grub? I don't feel like...
Sure.
I don't feel like that's how that works. Although I guess impersonating yourself would be really tough because like you would just have to act normally, but you wouldn't feel like you were acting normally.
Wouldn't it be the easiest thing to do?
Yo.
Maybe?
Hi.
What's up, Nate? Welcome back. I've had my XSplit crash on me already once today, so I know those feels, man.
that was completely random. My second PC just died in a horrible ball of fire, but it's okay. That's why I have 2. So,
well, I was asking, I don't know if you heard this before it crashed. We were going to go over our predictions here in just a moment, but I wanted to give you the courtesy of making one yourself. So, best of 5, these 2, what do you think the score ends up being?
I mean, I'm the biggest GuMiho fanboy in the world, but I want Neeb to win 3-2.
Hey.
I can't control my bias. I'm so terribly biased for both players. It kind of like evens out, you know.
You got the American nationalism, right? Well, Zombie Grub also called 3-2, but in the favor of Neeb. And I called 3-0 in the favor of Neeb because I like to balance wine. Neeb actually brings up a good point. This should be on West, so let's remake real quick. We're doing so many of these Europeans. Don't know what to do when we get an American.
Yeah, I'm the biggest Neeb fanboy there is, but GuMiho is also Bay, so well, you know, it's a very conflicting situation to be put in.
Did you happen to catch, or at least hear about GuMiho's match that led him to the round of 8 versus Sue?
No.
Okay.
Oh wait! I saw a bunch of people posting about it because he made some spicy mech memes.
Yeah, he went 0-2 bio and like. I don't know if he just said fuck it or what, tossed the table, played mech for the next 3 games in a row, and spanked Sue senseless. So what I love is that GuMiho has that in him. Like, he's not stuck to one style, and if he's losing, he'll keep playing the same style to like a 3-0 defeat. So I think like while he might struggle against Neeb, I don't think we'll see him do like the same boring or the same silly stuff the whole way through.
Yeah. I hope that we see variety. I mean, both of these players are really good at doing not normal stuff to a certain degree. That's why I like both of them.
Well, Undergrounds has through today at the very least, if not the last couple days, proven to be a very excellent map for Protoss. And that's not even balanced one. We've just actually seen crazy comebacks on this map out of all the Protoss players playing on it. So I'm excited to see how this first game goes. But guys, it's going to be me and Nate casting these first 2, then Nate and Zombie Grub casting the last half of the series. So at the live event, the plan is to kind of swap out like this too. So there's a bit of a taste of what you guys might get. Again, come to California, come to Fremont, to the Corsair headquarters. It's going to be free. Make sure to sign up through the Eventbrite if you're planning to attend. !live finals for more information in chat. But Nate, I'll let you kick off the first intro since you are the guest, sir.
Okay. Looking at the top left, just so you know, 100% which player I'm going to introduce first. Playing in the blue, the Terran player from Korea. Playing for Sidestorm Gaming, he is GuMiho.
I wouldn't have had it any other way. His opponent's in the bottom left, though. He's sponsored by the folks putting on this tournament, so maybe there's a little bit of magic going for him. The homegrown American hero, Neeb. Ting, of course, helping Nate out, too, I guess, on the side. Just worth noting. Kind of the Ting group of 3 here.
Yeah, the Ting guys are awesome. It's hard to say no when you talk to those guys because they're like they can actually talk about the game and stuff. So
yeah, they actually do StarCraft. They don't just like kind of invest and forget about it, which is cool. I mean, Jesse's not amazing at StarCraft, but big respect that he keeps playing like almost every day.
You can't hide from Jesse because he watches the StarCraft streams. Like he actually follows StarCraft, so it's you just see them everywhere. But this map has always been an interesting one. I think the spawns are going to make things a bit easier, probably, for Neeb to do harass in the mid game towards GuMiho, just because his natural expansion's kind of sticking out towards where Neeb could get his production set up if you want something like a Warp Prism or a Stargate. And I think we all know that Neeb is a player that is extremely good at utilizing any sort of harassment options, particularly versus Terran.
Well, so being the Terran player and superstar that you are, I gotta ask, we've not seen the new Widowmine change really seem to have that big of an effect. What are your thoughts on it right now in the match?
I think the primary function of the Widowmine has always been to just like kind of grab random units. You know, it's like the boogeyman. You don't see it and then you're dead. But it's not really like the boogeyman was ever known for also killing 3 people next to his main target, unless you know.
That's like Freddy Krueger stuff right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna draw. On the hot scale, I'm a 10.
Widowmine still serves its role of grabbing your Oracle and just smashing it down, or eating an Adept or a Stalker that pokes the top of the ramp. And then most importantly, if you blink a bunch of Stalkers underneath something like your Liberator setup, every single Widowmine is going to kill at least 1 unit. And the splash damage was never really the biggest factor, except maybe in Zealot scenarios. But if this Widowmine change actually allows Zealot play to come back in a big way, we probably won't know for a couple weeks because, honestly, pro gamers don't like adjusting that fast. So we won't see it for a while, even if it works.
I'll say Optimus is the exception to that rule. He takes the Reaper nerf and puts 8 racks Reaper down in response to it. But
I heard about that.
It was crazy. It worked too. It blew me away. But you're right. Like I am concerned that comes back because Charge Lot Storm was such an abusively disgusting thing to watch Protoss do for a while. And the Widowmine change, I'm not sure. I can't remember honestly whether it was a direct cause and effect from that, but it certainly removed it from the matchup. So it could come back and it could be scary. Terran should be on their toes for sure.
I mean, Terran does have the Liberator now, which helps to break out of those weird scenarios where the Zealots contain you for slowly pushing out. But maybe with the other changes, like I said, it's something that we probably won't see out of Protoss for a while just because of that. But the Reaper does die right as the Robotics Bay is planted down.
Yeah, that was kind of a cool move, too. I think he was trying to trap it in with it, but most importantly, GuMiho didn't see the Robo Bay. Like, it actually died before it got planted down. So there's going to be guesswork at this. I think it's safe to say that Colossus are losing popularity in the matchup, but you still want to know whether it's going to be that direction, right? Like, is it Colossus? Is it Disruptors? Like, you won't know unless you see it.
Yep. And I think for this map, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where with this Prism that's on the way, you have such a fast route to the Terran player's natural. Like, if this was a Terran versus Zerg, and GuMiho was in the same spot, then if the Zerg was in the top right, he'd be in a similar weird spot, because that natural expansion is always going to be the most direct path for the Terran player to harass. So it makes dealing with those drops a little bit more frustrating, if you don't get cross spawns on this map at least. But the Observer comes in, sees everything, the Reactor on the way, the Starport finishing up 1 unit on its own. This stim is going to finish at pretty nice timing, though, so GuMiho will probably try to kick things off. There is no third base for Neeb. I think as a Terran player, if you're playing against a Protoss and you're playing Buyout in Legacy of the Void, you're happy 99% of the time where the Protoss player does not have that third super fast, but does mean he has to be very careful for the War Prism play, and he gets it.
Okay, so you talk about grabbing random units, a very specific grab on a very important unit. The Marines were able to quickly focus that down, and GuMiho may not have been expecting to catch a Warp Prism with that, but that worked out fantastically for him.
That's the real job of the Widowmine. You know, Widowmine's like, nobody ever told me I had to deal crazy splash damage. My goal is to just help you kill that really one annoying unit. If it's a Warp Prism, an Oracle, or whatever.
Well, what's a little bit concerning about the Warp Prism going down, of course, is Neeb's going into Colossus. You can't really stop. You need to get to those 3 as quick as you can, and no room to pause to remake that Warp Prism. So losing out on a lot of potential harass through that.
Yep, and his 2 Hellions go straight up towards the front. He sees the composition of the army. He gets an idea for what he's going to be going up against. And it looks like what he wants to do is just kind of skirt to that left side. He drops a scan. I think the biggest thing right now is if he goes for it. Yeah, the Mothership Core isn't here. He's just going to dive right on top of this. Pretty ballsy move out of GuMiho.
He doesn't quite have enough Marauders initially, but I guess as he collects himself, he tries to focus it down. But Neeb barely going to keep... Oh, no, never mind. The Colossus goes down with that last shot of the Marauder. Not too bad. He'll clean up the drop, but at the cost of a Colossus. So not a bad attack out of GuMiho. He kept the Medivacs alive, too, which was pretty key.
He lost one of the Medivacs and pretty much all of the units that were inside of them for a Colossus. It's an interesting trade to go for. You're slowing down. You're slowing down the most important part of the Protoss's build, though. So I can still see how it's not the worst case scenario. The Guardian Shield helped a lot with keeping that bad boy alive.
Yeah, definitely. But I think the cool factor is, and I don't know if this is the read off GuMiho or not, but he got the Warp Prism. He knows Neeb can't stop making Colossus to get a new Warp Prism.
That's
and
true.
Suiciding that many units for Colossus means that the Warp Prism's delayed even further.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Skirting around the right side, though, 2 of these Medivacs looking for more action. GuMiho doesn't want to give Neeb any room to breathe. And that natural base does have 2 pylons and a lot of overcharge energy.
Yep, he's got a pylon in the mineral line as well if he tries to get too close to there. Good positioning on the Mothership Core. This shouldn't do too much. But you say that, and then if the Protoss player is looking away just for a second and they lose that 1 pylon, then all of a sudden all the unloaded units can sim and focus on the next one. He has to be super careful, on point.
It's interesting looking how limited Neeb's vision is. Like, he's put pylons here in like the middle left of the map. Like, he wants to catch these drops, but he has no vision of anything to the right of his base. So all these pylons, all this defense, it's pure paranoia. There's no confirmation that there's anything sitting outside his base.
You were talking about this earlier. I mean, he doesn't want to stop building Colossi because especially the one that he lost. So not only can he not rebuild the Warp Prism, but adding extra observers into this mix is going to be extremely difficult. He only has 1 out on the map, and that is with his army.
Yeah, Hallucinated Phoenix being sent across the map to scout too while this goes on. Not really a lot to reveal because GuMiho's not doing anything that's strange or different. Like, he's playing very standard Terran back at home behind it. I guess seeing the second engineering bay in the armory a little bit later is a nice thing, but for the most part, I guess if anything, you're looking for a second starport, but he doesn't see anything out of the ordinary. The second starport actually starts up over here after the Phoenix passes by.
Yeah, so this is the natural transition that any Terran player is going to make, going for the Fusion Core to get that Liberator range with, of course, the other starport. And I mean, range Liberators, that's the supreme deal for late game tech for Terran against Protoss. I always feel like, at least in the matches that I've been trying to watch lately for competitive side, you haven't been seeing enough Terrans focus on getting the +2 ship weapons, which is what you need to 2-shot the gateway units.
Yeah,
and I'm liking that he's getting the +1. Like I said, to me, that's always been like the trickiest part is watching. I watch a lot of these games and I'm like, my eyes start to bleed because they make it like 30 minutes deep and they never got +2 and still 3-shotting Stalkers and Zealots and Adepts.
You know, it's because they're stupid enough not to be watching your stream, Nate.
I don't really mass Liberators all that much.
No, but I mean, they could be learning these crucial Terran facts that they're clearly missing out on by playing regular standard Terran.
I don't mean to hate. It just sad.
No, dude, I'm on Team Nate with this one. Like, I've actually been dropping crazy knowledge bombs because I've been watching your stream.
I appreciate that, Grim. +2 attack on Liberators is like the most important upgrade in TvP outside of Stim now. And Liberator range, I guess.
Yeah, Liberator range, of course, is going to be the most tilting because that forces the Stalkers to really dedicate if they want to pick and prod at them. But that Liberator count is actually already pretty high up on 7. So even without range, you're going to have Liberators covering Liberators with a lot of Marauder support underneath it. Like, we don't see the Widow Minefield that we did in the past, but these Liberators, my God, there's no easy way to deal with these right now for Neeb.
And the best thing that Neeb can probably do at this time is consider the possibility that range is coming in, which it is. So he can start up his Stargate. There we go. Stargate begins inside the main base. And if he, I would say take bases, but he's got that 4th base already now. So probably don't want to invest too lopsided into economy just in case GuMiho makes that push as soon as Liberator range is done, which is very soon. But he put his whole army by the rocks and didn't break them. So my heart's a little broken.
So with the Stargate, we've actually been seeing 2 consistent trains of thought for this, and it's less on the Phoenix and more on either Void Rays or Tempest for the Liberators. What are your thoughts on the best way to deal with this?
I mean, I think the patch 3.8 Void Ray speed buff made them weirdly good at helping to deal with this, but shaves off a few of the Liberators.
Ooh,
I like that he lets the Colossus eat some of those shots, but you can still see that this was the greatest impact of that change, being able to eat a few more of those shots from the Liberators.
Oh,
It's
boy.
just cleared out almost all of them. This is definitely sloppy from GuMiho. He's bled out like over half of his Liberators during the course of this.
In fairness to GuMiho though, like who expects to lose 7 Liberators that quickly? This was covering each other. They shouldn't go down like this. He does collapse on the army though.
This is the right play. He needed to do something like this a little bit earlier. I mean, he's got a freaking ginormous army. He takes out the majority of the Stalkers, and this is the moment where you can pull back to the Liberators if you want. I think with that one Immortal, though, if he focuses that down, he could also try to dive on top of the Colossus. Okay, I was like, this is the kind of thing that you need to do when the Protoss starts pushing into your Liberators, because, I mean, he could have done this maybe like 15 seconds ago. I don't think his upgrade just finished, but that would have helped a lot with dealing with that. So as long as he keeps rebuilding the Liberators, it's not that big of a deal. But now Neeb is taking out 5th base.
Yeah, and he did get that second Robo down while he's continuing to advance his stack towards both Dark Shrine and Templar Archives. But the double Robo is going to help replace this Colossus pretty quick. I mean, there's kind of like a hard cap. You're not going to see a Protoss player going 9 Colossus. Like, you just want to be able to get that replacement down ASAP.
I just use of the cannon. You were talking about the pylons, kind of put around the map earlier.
I'm surprised he actually made use of it, to be honest. It just looked like a scouting pylon earlier. This is kind of cool. I like the hold position DT, actually. They got a really good scout on that army.
Nice little tool to see where the army comes from. Of course, the weird thing about this map, especially with non-cross spawns, is this rush distance is basically non-existent between the 2 bases now. That 5th is almost, I mean, it's actually funny that his 4th mineral line is in the sensor tower, which it's been, since he built it.
Yeah, that's that's gonna be a little annoying for GuMiho to keep seeing these blips on the map too, because it's just the workers, right? Like moving in and out, moving in and out.
It's just like one of those campaign missions, though. Like the enemy is here, but you can't really go there. So.
Oh man,
not easily at least.
What was that one? The Nova covert ops mission with the Reapers. You gotta like go to the science labs and stuff. Like you could see all the red on the map.
Yep. You can't do anything about it until it prompts you.
Well, we got
so
a big
scans and sees the army, but yeah, that big ass drop on the bottom right.
Yeah, that's gonna be. This could catch Neeb off guard really badly, to be honest. But at the same time, that just might prompt him into like a full-on base trade. The Liberator range is up. We got a couple of Widow Mines down, or just one rather. Where's the other one? Okay, whatever. There's not enough Widow Mines is the point though. To stop this army. You blink in, you take the damage, to like a mini EMP, but the Stalkers get focused on pretty quick by the Marauders, so the Liberators won't go down.
And those Liberators, Graham, Rogers, they have +2 attack. Rip those Stalkers to pieces. A single Void Ray in the main base with the pylons to defend, but he's not able to take care of this drop.
He just depowered 6 gateways. Neeb could have all the money in the world. He's not going to have the production to save these bases. +3 is going to get denied for armor. That's a huge shutdown. Twilight Council, or sorry, Templar Archives goes down. He's just running away in Neeb's base.
This is brutal. The Colossi taking forever to get home, and now there's no more energy to overcharge. He could try to just lift up and get out of there. Maybe. Okay.
I think, though, for GuMiho, he really got the better end of this, because he's also going to get the 5th base while this goes on.
Oh my god. The overstim crew over here by that 5th base.
You know,
a bunch of orange and red Marines and Marauders. It's like, okay, we know we're going to die. We got the base.
This was expensive for GuMiho to give that away like that, sure. But look at the resources lost, and look at Neeb's income, right? He could throw away so many more units and still be ahead.
Yeah, the key factor there, I guess, being what you mentioned, that he does get that 5th base, so he cuts off the most recent economic addition for Neeb. But he was mining that base for a bit longer. He's had obviously had that 4th base significantly earlier than GuMiho. So, all things said and done, main base is mining out, naturals mining out.
You know,
3rd base getting pretty low too.
I called that 3-0 with a lot of confidence for Neeb, just because I've seen GuMiho take some pretty bad TvPs in like Lima League and BTSLs lately. But I gotta say, he is playing so well this game. Neeb not exactly playing badly either, just GuMiho much better than I expected.
I think this map definitely helps in a certain regard to that. There's all this space for him to drop around and fly around that you can't really do too much as a Protoss without getting a couple of Phoenix. But even then, that's a lot of supply that you're going to have running around with this. The Void Ray was a nice touch, but obviously they don't deal very well with Marines, it seems.
I love these booby sensor towers on the map, though, because I am a child.
Jesus Christ.
Liberators are in full retreat. So many Marauders on the ground, though. It's so dangerous to chase these Liberators. 32 Marauders. They don't care about the Stalkers blinking forward. He says, please, please try and kill my Liberators.
Yeah, it's dangerous. I love these CDs, like just 3 medevacs for this giant army. So they're working overtime. He's going to try to catch him here. Liberators starting to siege up a bit. Snags an Archon. Not too shabby.
Neeb did take the gold base, by the way, to replace that 5th that went down. I think this is a great addition, but my concern is a lot less on Neeb's minerals and a lot more on his gas. The really expensive Protoss units he needs to deal with things like Liberators. Like Stalkers aren't cheap. Archons aren't cheap, and we're not even seeing Stargate units.
Nope. He made that very small early investment. He's going to go up towards GuMiho's gold base, though. Tries to break it down, and the Liberators show up just in the nick of time. Your booby towers have been destroyed, Graham. Just a single one now. As GuMiho runs towards the left side of that 4th base.
Yeah, the cannon was going to buy a little bit of time if this was harassed, but this is such a dedicated amount of Marauders. That base goes down so fast. Marauders don't even care, too. He's going to leave some behind to distract while he goes to snipe another Nexus, but there's no Nexus to snipe here worth sniping. All the bases are mined out. So he goes through to the main. He's looking for some pylons. He's looking for some tech. GuMiho's is going to lose a lot of units, but this goes right back to that bank. He's at 1,500 minerals, 2,000 gas.
This is what it's like. This is what it's like to be a part of the upper class. GuMiho just throws away entire armies to kill Nexus here, Archon there. He's like, well, 1%. I got more than enough to rebuild this all. Yeah, he's the 1%er in this game.
These Colossus are going to walk right into GuMiho's army. I'm not sure what just happened here for Neeb.
Oh my god.
Super awkward. Liberators take out that Colossus, no problemo. And Neeb can't rebuild that. He has to actually start picking between replacing Nexus or building more Colossus.
This is frustrating. He's moving towards that gold base again. The Liberators are not in position. He kind of really needs to get this. He sees the base in the top right as well. His opportunities to get ahead or break this game even are running out very quickly. GuMiho gets onto his gold base again.
Yeah, Neeb really needed this. His income's just been all over the charts lately. In fact, what are the graphs? Yeah, he's broke. He does have a standing army, though. Like, for Neeb, it's not out of the game yet. Not until this army dies. Not until the fat lady sings, so to speak. And he goes around the Liberators, so he'll actually be able to pick these off.
And the scary part is that there's still these planetary fortresses littered around here, getting a lot of extra damage in on the Stalkers. It's baiting some of the army's focus fire. I mean, if you are GuMiho, the biggest issue right now, I'm looking at his army. There's no medevacs with the army that's back home.
Yeah, there's like 3 on the field total.
Okay, is he going to go full Hodor mode on this gold base? No. He's gonna go back towards the main base. I'm like, is he really going to try to break the ramp versus Liberty?
It's kind of like a weak base trade, but we are in base trade territory. So Ace 1s and Ace 2s, if you got them in chat, guys, because command centers are dying all over the place. Nexus are falling on the other side of the map, and GuMiho, he's not turning around with his army. In fact, he's going to catch a lot of the probes, which he was hoping to keep alive by pulling them back.
Well, Neeb tries to break the main base ramp. A lot of Stalkers evaporate those Marauders, blinking over the supply depot wall, and he breaks inside his base, but it's not enough.
Oh, good first game out of GuMiho. I have never been so happy to be wrong about a score after a game like that. One game in his pocket.
That was a sick game, as they say. Really well played by GuMiho.
Absolutely, yeah. And I guess a recap, again, because we got a lot of new people joining us on the stream. If you missed it, we just announced the reason he's casting this best of 5 with us is the best way to announce that he's casting the finals with us, so he'll be there live at the TING finals, which is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, TING, by the way, because they'll be flying him out. But also, if you missed the previous results, Snoot, stats with an asterisk, of course, and Alive are the 3 players who are confirmed in the top 4. This match, this best of 5, is determining the 4th and final player. And for those who are missing Zombie Grub, whoops, pointing in the wrong direction, missing Zombie Grub over there, I'm doing the first 2 games with Nate, then we'll swap off and she'll cast the rest of the series with Nate.
Yeah. If you really love and miss Zombie Grub, just blame me for being here. There you go. I took her job.
You know what? It's like we're playing groups in H1Z1, and she pulled a Jules. She just couldn't find that armor and died. Feels bad. Out of the game, man.
Every game with Julie. Every game playing H1Z1 with Julie.
Zombie Grub's like, I understand these references. Nah.
Oh well.
All right. Well, Belshir is going to be the second map. Again, these are vetoed out ahead of time, so there's no loser's pick or anything like that. Everyone knows the maps before we get into it, and I'll kick off the intros on this one because this guy on the top left has 1 point on the board. A very well-earned game 1, to say the least. We have the Korean player for Skystorm Gaming, GuMiho.
Good old GuMiho. His opponent in the bottom right, spawning in as the red Protoss player representing Ting. He is Neeb.
So, quick question for you that doesn't pertain to the game at hand necessarily. We came to the realization 2 best of 5s ago that we had put so much planning into this live event and setting things up with like having you come join us and fly the players out and all this. We totally forgot to even think about the idea of like a trophy of sorts. So, first off, shout out to Castiana and a couple others who actually threw like a couple $100 our way to get trophies. But secondly, I was kind of thinking, it's 4 players, they're already being flown out, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. I almost wanted to do like a Star Wars like medal ceremony instead of like a trophy. Is that too cringy? What do you think on this? Where do you think we should go with the award ceremony?
Could be a little over the top.
I think it's only over the top if we make Zombie Grub do like the bun hairdo. Like that's gonna get too far.
Who came up with this idea?
Me, of course. But I mean, the idea is like for 32 Boys 1 Cup, we had a funny ass trophy for that. For Hell to Be Time, we had a wrestling belt made. I'm just trying to think of ways to not be too like glass pillar that they kiss awkwardly on the camera.
Yeah, that's true. That is awkward. Yeah, the only other thing that makes me think of is that the trophy was actually just a cake and they just ate it instead of kissing it. But
or pull like a Steve Aoki and just start throwing it at people.
Yeah, just slam the cake trophy in somebody's face. I don't know why that was my first thought, but there you go.
I think Corsair would probably be like, yeah, we're not paying for cleanup on this. You guys, please. You brought the cake, you cleaned it up.
Bring a poncho, spread it out on the floor like it's going to be a murder scene, and get that cake. There you go.
Oh man, I have seen a lot of Dexter. I feel like I know what to do.
An obscure StarCraft reference led me to binge watching all of the Santa Clarita Diet, so now I know exactly how to very cleanly murder people. So we're good.
The wonderful thing StarCraft does for us, right? Well,
yeah.
GuMiho's got that factory coming up pretty quick, but this time Neeb is going to be opening with a Stargate, and it's not going to be Colossus. I will say this, like, I don't think he handled his Colossus poorly, and in some cases he got some pretty good trades with them. But just watching Terran versus Protoss as much as we have, Colossus really don't feel as strong as they were. Granted, they're good, they can take hits, and they got that range, but as we witnessed in that game, Liberators just end up being the trump card in a lot of situations.
Yep, it's just the impact of having a unit with such insane range, and the fact that the Liberator has almost 200 hit points, so it's just a difficult unit to break. And the biggest thing is, like many other ranged unit interactions, and I actually would just go back to Bio versus Colossus in Wings of Liberty or Heart of the Swarm. They have so much range. Once the fight starts, it's hard to disengage. You have to be 100% willing to commit if you're going to fight an army with Colossus. And just like in Legacy of the Void, if you want to fight an army with Liberators, you have to be ready to commit.
Oh, that was a
Hellion play.
Yeah, Hellions might get a probe or two, but that Reaper got shut down, and no scouting to the main means he won't know about the Stargates. Now, Widow Mines are being made. They'll be putting the mineral lines out of Paranoia almost for certain, but if he pulls those right away and just boosts across the map, he might find himself a little bit vulnerable to that Oracle.
It looks like that's what he wants to do. So the only thing that this can help with is there shouldn't be detection for Neeb on the other side of this, but he's going to see the Oracle with his Hellions.
Well, what I really like... Oh, he's going to actually kill the Hellions with the Oracle. That's interesting. I like the Phoenix follow-up. Like, okay, you might not have detection for the Widow Mines, but if you scoop them up out of the ground, then who cares?
Yeah. It will be more than one, so it's going to come down to the positioning on whether or not he can lift both in time, or if he can photon overcharge, focus fire one down.
I know he saw the Widow Mine on the ramp. I don't know if he saw the one in the mineral lines. Either way, Medevac does come into the main, and Phoenix is out of position for this. So Neeb's got to watch those probes. He pulls them away. Got a little bit scary. Four's not bad.
Not
and
bad
he gets
at
an
all.
overcharge.
And the most important thing here is with this setup, he gets 1 with the mine in the natural. The most important thing about this is that the Protoss detection is extremely limited. The Oracle did, as you said earlier, try to kill the Hellions, and it picked off 1 or 2 SCVs in GuMiho's base, but I think GuMiho prefers that to the scenario where he doesn't have detection. He can't get rid of the mines in his base, and it's going to fire again.
There's also 4 more on the way, Nate. This medevac on the left side is carrying in a lot of reinforcements. He's going to burn the overcharge, or not the overcharge, the detection on these Widow Mines. And then what's he going to do about the next 4 of them?
I don't know. This is the Widow's Terran versus Protoss here. That's a weirdly high. I mean, think about it this way. Without the robotics facility, he can only use Revelation on 1 of these mines at a time. He brings up the second Oracle, which is about to go again.
Oh, God. Yo, I like that. I think Neeb knew that this was coming, so he waited intentionally to use that Revelation, but he doesn't get that leftmost Widow Mine, and I hope he realizes that, because if the probes go back to mining stacked up... Okay, ooh, that was close.
That had a depth step to the right, and I'm like, he's going to drag the shot.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I was thinking. There's a random Widow Mine placed over here, just, I guess, looking to catch units. I mean, as you said, like, they're just here to really... The best thing a Widow Mine can do is get all that splash. The minimum it can do is grab a random unit kill.
Yeah, the splash argument isn't really too much of an issue versus Protoss early game because, the Widow Mine still has its splash one-shot probes. It's still an extremely powerful unit.
Yeah. Actually, what's funny is, I'm sure if we look at the income graph here, yeah, you can see you can see every time Neeb's had to pull away a micro for these Widow Mines, these very harsh spikes that favor GuMiho. This Widow Mine grabbed against a probe that was transferring. You see him have to not burn energy on an overcharge or a revelation. Oh, it's out of range of the cannon, actually. Oh, that really sucks.
That is frustrating. Yeah, this is a really, really, really effective way to keep the Protoss from also trying to harass you at all. I mean, we've been looking at Neeb's base all game. GuMiho just dropped the Mule Hammer on that 3rd. He's got his orbital set up. Medevacs are coming out. Stim is done. +1 is done. He's going to double Liberator, Combat Shield. So he's even able to buy himself an insane amount of time to basically just macro up freely back home as long as he kept those Widow Mines harassing.
Yeah, what's crazy about this too for GuMiho, there is an element of luck here because he didn't scout that it was a Stargate versus a Robo. And going through with this, he committed before he knew what was going on.
He just flew straight past all of the Phoenix.
Oh,
so ridiculous.
Let's go back to that luck argument, right?
If I'm the Protoss, that's baby rage tier right there.
Oh, he's gonna get the resonating glaives. He's gonna get the +1. Widow Mine's gonna get the Phoenix. All the shield's gone. Look at EMP, and he's got another Widow Mine in his back pocket. Neeb is getting wrecked.
That Widow Mine's still killing probes. It's at 9 kills at the 3rd base too.
God.
That's just evil.
The Observer's sitting right over it too, but he can't divert any units to deal with it. He has to focus entirely on the main. GuMiho's trying to free his Marines. The Phoenixes could give chase, maybe, but Neeb's hurting. Neeb's licking his wounds still, and that Widow Mine goes off again on another 3. He's at 13 kills on this Widow Mine.
That was such a devastating attack. That's how it feels to play Terran versus Terran when you're like, all your Vikings go to try to catch a Doom Drop, and it's just completely the wrong direction.
He's still got this one on the side, by the way, that never went off.
Yep. 13 kills on that Widow Mine.
Oh, and he put cast Revelation on the wrong. Oh, he doesn't tag it. Right now, if you're Terran, you're like, praise the sun. If you're Protoss, you're like, God damn it, David Q. Either way, this has been a really good game for GuMiho.
GuMiho has been styling on Neeb in this map. From the very, very beginning, after he lost that Reaper and started the mine drop shenanigans, he has just been on a roll. This army is so huge. It's literally just the depths, except there's no upgrades because he canceled them.
Yeah, GuMiho's deny on the Resonating Glaives was huge to stop the damage against these Marines. The +1 takes it one step further, but he depowers the cannon. That Nexus is open game. Well, Phoenix is trying to kill the Liberators. It doesn't matter. That's going to be game, and GuMiho takes a 2-0 lead in the best of 5.
Super, super, super crisp. Well played by GuMiho. I mean, that is such a hard thing to deal with when you open up Stargate. First, he burns the energy trying to attack a Hellion. Hellions actually do move fast enough that the Oracle wasn't able to kill them. So he just ends up in this extremely awkward, put on your Benny Hill music, trying to grab the Hellion, tries to grab an SCV, and then by the time he realizes, he's like, I'm probably not going to be able to kill anything with this. Probably not going to be able to kill anything with this Oracle. It's like, well, now I wish I had it back home to use Revelation.
Yeah. Well, guys, big thank you to Nightshade for the 11-month resub. He was one of our Hell to Boot Time observers. How you doing, buddy? We had Don Fish. He hit us up with a new sub. Cadence for 2 months is Ace 1, Ace 2, Sir 1, Sir 2. And to that I say Sir 7. Dan Holton hit us up with 8 months to say BTTV hype. And then last but not least, Secretary's Kill for the 21 months. We're going to go to a 2-minute commercial break while we swap things around. When we come back, you guys will finally have your wish. Rifkin will be shut up. Zombie will be casting the rest of the series with Nate. So maybe it's 1 game, maybe it's 2 or 3. Either way, we'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Thanks for watching.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the rest of the cast. This could be the last game. And with how GuMiho is playing, it just might be. It's going to be on Newkirk. I am Zombie Grub, and now I'm casting with Nathanius.
Hi, Zombie Grub. We don't really ever cast together. But that's cool.
We have never cast together.
Have we?
Ever.
Have we never? You keep track.
I think we did like a tri-cast maybe once before on BaseTradeTV, but
okay. Yeah,
pretty sure we never like been like one-on-one. Anyway, let's do the intros in the bottom right. As the blue Terran, he is Psystorm Gaming's GuMiho.
Base God GuMiho, leading 2-0 in the series. His opponent in the bottom left, the red Protoss player representing TING, he is Neeb.
I see people in chat asking, wasn't the Widowmine nerfed? Why is it doing so well? Well, it's not nerfed against probes, guys.
That's the life of running a live broadcast. All the people coming in, they're like, I thought the Widowmine was literally useless. A bunch of people said it was garbage now. I'm like, that's not really how this game works. Yeah. Just like how you can't just win the GSL by literally massing corruptors now just because your friend says they're broken. Widowmines are still good units.
God, that would be great. They get a Baker T112 for the Twitch Prime sub, by the way. Man, like the Widowmine drops so effective. I mean, like Neeb was just like, you guys already described it, but it was such a snowball where it was one thing led to another, led to another, led to another. And GuMiho, it was kind of clever of him doing the follow-up for Widowmines. It's not the usual.
Yeah, I think anyone that if you gave a real objective look to the Widowmine change before it happened, it really wasn't that big of a deal. It's just mitigating large clumps of Protoss units getting hit by the splash damage, which mostly only applied to adepts that teleport onto you. Maybe if a couple Phoenix, I guess in this current metagame, see that probe takes a lot of damage. But largely because everyone was talking about they want people to build zealots again, make zealots great again. We haven't done it yet, but maybe soon.
Maybe in the future. Yeah. Unfortunately, so we've had 2 games so far. GuMiho won both. One was Colossus based, epic, almost base trade, really cool game. The second one was going to be Phoenix Adept, which has been tripping up a lot of Terrans, but it just never really came to fruition because so much damage is done with the Widowmines. I wonder which option Neeb is going to choose here in the third and potentially last game on Newkirk. Colossus, Stargate.
I can't see him. Yeah, there's a Stargate. I can't see him like completely foregoing it because I feel like a lot of it did come down to he didn't. It could be a bit of bad luck sometimes because the Phoenix were like patrolling outside of his main base and he just went the wrong way right as the medevacs came in. So it's hard to blame his build for that. It's more like he made a mistake of moving way across the map with his Phoenix, and that's what allowed the medevacs to come in. So if he's a bit more aware, I think he can definitely capitalize on an opportunity a little bit better. I like this cheeky double Hellion opening, though. Like, he just gets these out. And I guess the idea is that the Reaper pulls the units into the main, and then the Hellions get into the natural.
Mm-hmm. I talked about predictions earlier on, and, well, I was a god last series. I don't know if I'm going to be one here, but I did talk about, even before that, how Neeb, like, sometimes he's great, he's fantastic, all that, but man, sometimes it feels like against the players that he could win against, but it like isn't obvious, he just kind of, he's inconsistent and he falters. And he kind of goes back to Neeb of the past, where 1 mistake leads to 2 more mistakes, leads to 5 more mistakes. He's just trying to start that.
Yeah, he just attacked his own pylon with those 2 adepts, giving these Hellions a little bit more time to run through. and get the good scouting. Does burn out the Oracle energy, so he won't have to deal with anything running towards his mineral line anytime soon. But there's the third base starting up for Neeb at the same time.
Yeah, that's the point.
Uh-oh.
Get into the natural now. You don't usually like. It's been a. Most Terrans aren't opening up with Hellions anymore, but especially following up with 2 more. Even got 2 Widow Mines now on the way, and a Liberator. The Liberator can maybe feel a little bit useless against Phoenixes.
Yeah. It's not going to be able to do too much, but I do like how quickly he gets his Tech Lab with this build. Feels a little bit like a Terran versus Zerg opening. So he gets that stem up nice and early. But he can't. I don't see him being able to do too much, especially with the direct air path in this map. Like the Phoenix should always be able to catch anything that doesn't go straight around the ground path. But the Oracle comes in, and it's actually going to deny the building on 2 of these barracks and grab a Marine. So not too bad at all, delaying the production pretty heavily.
Oh, so annoying. Oh, no, revenge.
And that is what the Widow Mine is good at. That part has not been nerfed. That part almost got nerfed, but
I like that a lot.
Like that? It's messed up.
No, I wouldn't have liked that part being nerfed. But,
okay.
I like the Widow Mine positioning. I thought it was actually quite clever.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing your tweet about the Oracle, and it almost happened.
I was ready to baby rage. I was ready to baby rage really hard. So the Liberator and the Viking bait the Phoenix. The Hellions get a couple of probes at the third base. So nice little bit of harass being done there, especially since the Hellions don't really hold any utility. You don't really carry their weight in this matchup outside of running around. He landed the Viking just so he could force the Phoenix to lift it up.
He's not killing it. Okay, there we go.
Okay. He just like held him up. He's like, "This is where you belong, in the sky," and then he killed him.
Yeah, this is a bit weird.
Like he used the force to just pick them up off the ground.
So the Hellions, I believe, Rifkin's like cackling. You guys can't hear it. Yeah, Hellions get into the main base. Not quite. The Phoenix has picked those up as well. And finally, the Hellion presence is entirely gone. But GuMiho did some decent damage with the opener. I mean, 5 probes is sometimes more than, I guess, the 0 they can kind of usually get. Combat on the way. Third base finishing up. Not a location, but close enough. And, well, this is going to go into that Phoenix Adept style for Neeb versus GuMiho and Widow Mines and Liberators. Well, Terran doesn't really have too many options of how they're going to play, but...
I mean, against this style, you usually just try to do the same thing that you always do. Just be mindful that you can't really run away, and you shouldn't be able to drop much. But I did say that last game, and we all saw what happened. So.
Yeah, totally though. Like some Terrans will try and continue to drop against this style, and really, if your drop gets unloaded, the Phoenixes sometimes can look really weak against it. But they're supposed to stop it from happening at all. Yeah. But you have to be a lot more mindful of how I take engagements. A lot of these games, the reason why Adept Phoenix looks so overpowered is because the Terran pokes and they try and retreat, and they're like, "Oh shit!"
Yep.
Like, I can't
you
retreat,
absolutely cannot run away from this. Like your medevacs are going to get killed. The Adept Shade will allow them to chase your Marines. You need to be very, very, very cautious with how you step around. And I do believe you need a shit ton of Widow Mines. You need a lot of Widow Mines.
Okay, that was really close, but okay. Ended up being kind of cool. Stands for the observer, so that Widow Mine might save the day another day, a long time from now. Gateways have all finished up for Neeb, so he's producing a lot of Adepts now. He did just warp in on his third base, I believe, so maybe no warp ins with his main.
He doesn't have the gas on the third. He's just focusing on that mineral collection. 2 Widow Mines get dropped inside of the main. One of them does burrow and get 3 probes, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah. The medevac should not be able to get out alive. That'd be a surprise, but maybe. I mean, Neeb has all of his army on the front.
Yeah, he wants to attack, so he's keeping the Phoenix on the other side of the field. That Widow Mine is still there and could potentially shoot again. We don't have an observer there to deal with it, and he's building one, but it won't be ready in time, so he needs to evacuate. Okay, yeah, he moved most of the probes away, so he should only get like 1 or 2.
There you go. Neeb does... Well, he's positioning. He has eyes on GuMiho's army. Oh, never mind.
I like the bunker. This is him respecting this a lot by putting the mines behind, keeping these Widow Mines here with the bunker. But Neeb is just going to go all in on this. The Widow Mine from the main base gets that shot off you were talking about, but that is a lot of Adept.
Maybe. Okay, maybe the reinforcements will take care of this, but this ended up going fairly well. Oh, the medevacs are all going to die.
So he doesn't get any time to rally himself behind. His production is kind of separated between the main and the natural. He killed most of the Adepts. That bunker in the third base held, but You know, the biggest thing that could actually help this is just that he doesn't have a pylon. He doesn't have too much reinforcement points nearby. He warped in at his third base, even though he has a warp prism out on the map.
Yeah, that is interesting. If he had a warp prism, this might already be game over. But
he does.
It looks
he didn't
like
use it. He didn't use the prism. That's
Yeah,
why.
he just
That's
didn't
why
use
I'm
it.
like really confused. He
Yeah.
should have been able to just add 8 adepts in, but now they've run all the way across the map.
Yeah, very odd right there. And he is finally warping in consistently too. He's starting to bank a little bit, but there were 8 more adepts, and GuMiho ended up taking 17 SCV losses, which kind of sucks. Like, he had Widow Mines, but they were kind of scattered around every which way. Maybe if they're all together, this would have been different.
I like this. He pulls the SCVs around the left side to make sure he can get the repair. The Adept Shades tried to block the SCV pathing to that bunker, but they are not able to do so, and the reinforcements have arrived. He closes the door on the natural. These Adepts are going to get cleaned up. GuMiho making a phenomenal hold so far, losing a lot of SCVs, but this is an army that generally scales very well if you can get up to that 140 supply mark.
Yeah, absolutely. GuMiho might be able to push and do some serious damage. I love GuMiho's setup. The bunker ended up really helping out. And that missile turret even helped deter the Phoenixes from going back in after they killed the Liberators to help pick off anything further. So,
yeah, I'm just going to say it, that bunker was the MVP, possibly one of the game-winning moves in this fight, because it really held that third base. And his natural wasn't mining during that, but he was still mining off the third base, and now he's getting ready to go. This is a giant freaking army.
Yeah, that is a lot of Widow Mines. I said, like, he's been producing them, but he also had so many that were spread around. He finally collects them all, and that's just going to be very difficult to go up against. But Neeb moves in with a Warp Prism, finally utilizing that as it should be. Maybe going to either kill a lot of SCVs or just distract GuMiho. He's not going to pull back, but he may be distracted.
Yeah, he's getting ready to attack that fourth base. Meanwhile, the Adepts are splintering themselves around. Some of them have made it over to the natural, but Liberators siege, Widow Mines siege. The Phoenix try to grab a few, but it's not going to be enough to stop this army. And he's going to lose that fourth. GuMiho survives the tides rolling across with those Adepts, with those Phoenix, and has put himself in a very nice spot where he has a big opportunity now as the Adepts are going to try to shade it on his army.
Oh, there's so many Widow Mines. So he tries to pick them up, but they still got the shot off. He knew they were there at the Observer.
Ouch. You nerfed that splash, but when there's that many Widow Mines, you're still going to get splashed.
God, GuMiho, I mean, like, he's lost 7 more SCVs. He did clean them up finally, but he's at 30 SCVs. He's finally starting to make some more. He absolutely needed to take out this fourth base, and he also needed to take a good engagement, but he just took a great engagement. He's now almost tripling the army supply, and Neeb's going to tap out. Not even going to try. GG. Well then.
Wow.
Okay, so
the beatdown.
Yeah, the 3-0 secures his spot in the TING round of 4, ladies and gentlemen. It's sad to see Neeb go down, but I do want to stress, again, for format, if Stats forfeits on the 15th because he wins his GSL match, there is actually a chance for Neeb to come back. The losers of this round of 8 will have a chance, if they want to. They can decline it. They don't even need to, but if they want to, there's a chance that they can play a micro bracket to take Stats' spot if he forfeits. That being said, maybe Stats loses GSL, and then he just flies on over to TING, and we end up having quite a few Koreans. I'm just going to remove Nate's face. It's get him get camera anyways. There we go. Anyways, Nate, what do you make of this bracket, man? We got GuMiho. We've got Snoot, which is gonna I think make this really fun. Alive, and then Stats potentially.
This player lineup is awesome. Like this is a really sweet lineup. I mean, obviously, I still get to be happy as the biggest GuMiho fanboy to get to see my boy going through. TvT triggers me, but it's okay. We persevere. And Snoot Stats, well, I mean, Stats obviously considering the position of that GSL spot and not wanting to obviously have to forfeit that or lose that to be able to make it, just kind of says already obviously how well he's doing. So this is an awesome bracket, and I think everybody loves Snoot. It's gonna be nice to see Jens again.
Yeah, this is gonna be really fun, guys. I really hope Stats doesn't have to drop out, but if he does, again, I'm just letting everyone know we do have a contingency plan. So, TING Open Season 3 Finals, Corsair headquarters, Twitch helping fly out the players. Nathanius coming to cast with us. It's gonna be a right old StarCraft party on the West Coast. Make sure to be there. And of course, the big thing to do is hit live !live finals in chat. It'll take you to a tweet that has the Eventbrite. Register, please come. If you're coming, please register. It secures your spot, so if we are over capacity, you'll have priority to be in there, and you might even be eligible for a couple other cool things at the event that we haven't announced yet. But the recap on today is those 4 players, us sponsoring Buell, Nate casting live, and Zombie and I doing the AMA from my place after Corsair / TING finals. So again, I hope you guys are super stoked. The end of March is going to be sick. Thanks again, Nate, for joining me for the cast. You're streaming later today, right? What time are you streaming going online, man?
Yep, I'm going to be live at noon Pacific time, so that's in about 3 hours.
Daylight savings fucking me up. I didn't even know when noon was.
Yeah, I woke up and I was like, I have another hour before I have to cast base trade, right? And I was like, nope, shit, nope.
Time to wake up. Yeah, my phone had actually preset itself, so I tried to compensate by setting my alarm an hour early. So I woke up 2 hours early. Feels bad, man.
Rep.
Anyways, we're going to play one last set of sponsored ads. So, Nate, if people do want to catch your stream or find out more about you, where can they go?
I stream on Twitch like pretty much every day, twitch.tv/Nathanius. And you can also check out my other shenanigans at youtube.com/Nathanius.
And Zombie Grub, yourself?
You can follow me on Twitter at ZG Gaming, on Twitch, Zombie Grub, and YouTube, Zombie Grub. Look at the Amazon links down below. Thanks.
And, of course, before I do my send-offs, quick note, someone's saying doesn't stats win the 18th. I don't know if it's the 15th or the 18th. I keep saying the 15th because that's the first semifinals match, but the point is we're working it out with the players so that once we know stats' position, we'll go from there. So the date is whatever, but the sentiment is still the exact same. Regardless of that, thank you guys for watching. Follow the channel. Follow at BaseTradeTV on Twitter if you want to see, I guess, professional updates. But if you want to see regular updates and shit posting, you can follow me on Twitter at riff_kings. Thanks for watching the show today. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Again, thanks, Nate, for joining us. We're going to end the stream with some sponsored ads for TING. If you're a United States citizen, consider checking out bttv.ting.com. Grab that $25 in credit, and have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.